So this is part 7 of the videos I'm doing about making side corridor carriages for the Great Western Railway for Trains Rail Sim, and I'm using Gmax modelling program, and this is where I got to last, and that is having separated and animated the doors. We can see the animations. There they go. Right, now we need the doors separate left or right, because left and right, because it will depend on which side of the train the platform is. And so the first thing to do is to split this into two separate files. So first of all, I'm going to save this one as doors left, and I'm going to delete all the right hand doors and save it again, and I'm going to load up the one with all the doors in. Let's go back to this and then it's pretty obvious. I'm going to save this as doors right, and I'm going to delete all the left hand doors, and that's pretty much it. So let's just make sure we've got no groups. Yeah, and we'll save that. And the two other meshes that I need to complete this particular model are a shadow mesh and a night mesh, and those are derived from the final version of the body, the main body of the carriage 3.1. and what I need to do first of all is to eliminate all of the attachment points. We don't need those, and make a note, by the way, that we've got 24 passengers. Actually, we need to remember how many, and we've got 4 loads, so just jot that down. Loads 4, and we've got corridor 1. It does just say 1, and we've got 4 loads, and there are load 0 to 3, and the passengers are passet is 01 to 024, or to not 024, just to 24. Yep. And we've got a corridor 1, and we've got a dot guard. Okay, right, so we've selected those, and because we're going to do the night version, we can just delete those. And now basically what I'm going to do is leave the internal walls, and to give this the night version, so I'm going to take out the roof, just basically delete everything that I don't really need for this. So I'm going to take out the whole of the clerestory, and what else can we lose? We can lose all of the underframe and the corridor, and certainly we can lose the handles. I'm a bit concerned that there's one there, so I need to go back and look in the original. I always make mistakes, so no surprise there. And let's take the side out. Should be the inside, the teak. Yeah, the teak is still there. And we'll take out the glass, and these internal handles, we can take that out. The gutter or drain piece. I tend to lose the ducket as well. You need to make sure you take the glass out as well. Let's make sure we do that. That's the glass there, right? Yep. What's that one? What's that? Part of that. So we want to keep the internal teak panelling, but apart from that we can lose pretty much everything on the outside. Yep. So steps can go, and the handle you hang on to when you climb up onto the roof. Make sure we're doing alright. Yep. And of course there's a big guard section, there's obviously not very much in the way of interior left to have illuminated in night mode. But you want to try and eliminate everything that you can. This isn't necessary. The reason I removed the ducket is because there's no lighting inside the ducket. Lose that and that. And all the glass. Yeah, remember now I want to go back into the body because I want to adjust those pictures. Use this and the frame around the... Yep. And I'm going to leave in the actual partitions, but I'm going to take away the pictures for the corridor. I can lose the glass as well. And yeah, there's some more of the ducket I can lose. There we go. And just clear out these. Basically what you're trying to do with the night mode is to reduce it down to basics. Just the essentials, that areas that might be lit by the comparatively weak carriage lighting, oil lamp lighting. And that's it. That looks to be it. Can't see anything else that should come out. Obviously I'm leaving the doors there, but I've taken the exterior doors. No, I think that's everything now. So that will call that, save it as Breakthrough version 3 night. Save that, and then we'll open up. That's the 3.1 version again. Okay, and just want to go in here and adjust those pictures above the backs, the seats on the compartment divisions, partitions. There's some of them. Got near this end. Okay, so move this over. Bring up the materials. Don't need maps, but what we do want are place images. And we've got duplicates there just because of the way I've imported it, but it won't affect it when we export it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we go for place image 1, place image 2. They may not change if that's what they are. Place image 3. No, there is one change. Place image 4. Place image 5. It's an image of a place, that's why I call it this. I'm not the most inventive of individuals. 6. Okay, and let's turn around. Have a look, we've got a few there. So let's make that number 7. I've got 8 of these all together. 7 and 8. And we go back to number 1 for this. Number 1 and number 2. There we are. These are nice places you can visit on the Great Western Railway. And obviously we don't put them up in the lavatory. So having done the little pictures in the corridor partitions, we've now done Better save that. Save as version D12 version 3.1 3.2. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to make the shadow, which is fairly straightforward. Version 3, and I'm going to call that shadow. So it's yet another copy of this model. So I'm going to start off again by removing all the attachment points. So we don't want those in the shadow, and in fact the only things that we want in the shadow are this bit of roof, the clerestory bit of roof, and the tops of the lamps. Everything else can go. But what I want to check first is I want to bring the shadow down, yes, wants to come down to 3 feet. So about there. Okay. So we need to, we need to, so I need to just pull the lamps, grab the lamps and hide them. Don't need the shades. Everything else is deleted. Unhide all. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide that. And in the lamps, I'm going to pick up this. The lamps each comprise 3 meshes. That's a cap at the top, a cylindrical part coming down, and then this base. And so long as you select, multiply select, I don't need to do that. As long as you multiply select all the same bits, the same duplicate meshes, then you can do this. But if you try and do it to different meshes, then making them more unique again. If you try and do it with different meshes, then certainly my experience has been that Gmax fries its brains and crashes, and sometimes it crashes to such a degree that I have to reboot the PC because for some inexplicable reason it wants to it won't take the all of the mouse commands. I think it's a part of the, because Gmax is such an old program, but you know what they say about new tunes on old fiddles. Because it is such an old program, then there is obviously some minor mismatch with Windows 10, which is what I've got. And so you can have all sorts of fun and games with it. Okay, so, but I mean Windows 10 bravely does as much as it possibly can to try and resolve it. So now all I'm doing is this is the main part of the roof, and as you can see I'm making everything black, because that's what a shadow is as far as I'm concerned, black. Let's go up here, and then I'm just going to collapse this, pick up the vertices, one set by one, set straight across, and reduce the height to 3 feet, and ditto the next pair. If you select several vertices that are in slightly different heights, then what you get is an average. In other words, they retain the difference in height, but they bring it down here. But I think I've got something like that here. Look, that should be 3 feet. Wasn't. That should be 3 feet. There we are. It's demonstrating my point precisely. Probably doesn't really matter with a shadow, but if I can be accurate, I will be. Now you see there, that one's down, that one's up, so 3 feet is the difference between the two. That one's, let me see, that one is 3 foot and a bit. That'll be under 3 foot. They are 2 foot 11 and what do you call it. So I suppose if I just do this and be done with it, just try and speed things along. Once you get to this point, there's a fair amount of this sort of last minute sort of pruning about and moving about, just to bring in these last elements of the model that you need. And I'm going to actually show you how I go on to exporting this. What I always do is make a folder, and that folder gets all of the export, and that's before I then I try and import that folder into trains, and I'm just about to do the same with this, and not always successfully, I might add. Frequently not successfully. One of the things I've found about Tame, which I quite like, I'm going to pick all these up and just move them down to the 3 foot mark, and then sort them out down the bottom there to give us a straight edge. Yeah, one of the things that I quite like about Tame is the way in which its content manager does highlight both mistakes, fatal errors, and also things that you can live with, which is usually most of my stuff, because it's always something which, you know, started doing this, making these things for trains 2004, so about, what are we, about 14 years later, 13-14 years later, some of those models are still flying, or more or less used. I'm still using them, or I've just updated them a bit just to patch them through into Tame. And I'm not at the moment contemplating buying the Trains 2019 version. Haven't really been overwhelmed by new features. There's several things which I would have liked to have seen done. I think weather needs a lot of work on it, to be honest. It's all very well having these nice bright Australian suns and, you know, frankly, precious little alteration in the weather, but when you're doing it for Ireland, it doesn't really work, because, you know, we get a lot of rain, and I'm just finishing off the black for the clerestory, and there we are, there's the shadow. Yeah, we get a lot of rain here, and cloudy skies and wind and all the rest of it, so really there we are, saving it as the shadow. So really I would like a much more flexible, much more control of the weather. And although there you can see all we've got is the clerestory extended, the roof extended down to 3 feet, and then the lamps to stand out, so that's going to be our shadow. Okay, so effectively then what we've now got are, if we have a look here, file open, if we have a look at D12, we've got various versions of it in the construction stage. So there's version 1, then version 2, and finally my final version 3, 2 copies of that, and then we've got the doors left and right as separate meshes, and also doors on their own as a separate mesh, and we've got the night mode, and we've got the shadow, and that's what we're going to work with. Okay, so now I'm going to jump about a bit with other programs. First thing I want to do is to go up into my models list, which is an Excel spreadsheet. So just load that up, and there we are, carriage, and you can see that it's just a list of my model types, and I'm going to stick in a couple of there because we're going to do and carriage. So this is going to be GWR, standard gauge, D12, 3 compartment brake, and go across here. That's my KUID number, 169585, and for this one it's going to be 10300. There we are. So D12 is 10300, and I might as well allocate the GWR standard gauge E38. It's 38, isn't it? Let's have a look here. Should remember it, but you know, I don't. E27 was the last one. These designations are all taken from Russell's books, which are themselves, yeah, there's my textures, which are themselves, what is E38? First, third compo. Oh, there we are. First, third compo. And they're taken from the, Russell's book takes it from the Swindon Drawing Office details. And, you know, he's pretty reliable. So E38 is going to be 10301. And then the other thing we want to check are covered by, my goodness, there's a lot done. Scenery, whoa, goodness me, it goes on and on and on. Splines, bogies, here we are. What are the bogies? Oh my goodness, what is happening? Oh, there we are. Itself seems to be having a bit of a bad morning of it. So we've got loads and loads and loads and loads of bogies. There we are, and it's the 8'6". That's the one. You see I've been mucking about with other ones, so that's when I was doing it with Ricky, so that's years ago now. Okay, so the bogey is going to be 8'6" Churchwood, and that is 50345. So that's the one that I've done for that. So okay, so I've made a note of those. Don't lose the details. So I can close that out, and now what I'm going to do is start obtain new models, trains, here we are, and I'm going to make a, see them all here, I'm going to make a new folder, and we're going to call it GWR. I've started putting in these underlines rather than spaces because I discovered that D12 break that Internet Explorer or Echo or whatever it is now can't actually deal with these names without them. So let's just make sure we've got break tricron, break third, there's another break third. Made that in September, so that's okay. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the whole of that, and I'm going to go up to D12 and dump it in there. Okay, and I'm going to call this D12 and go into it, get the type, and these are the meshes and the animation files that I'm interested in. So I'm going to change that. That's the main body, D12, and this one, D12, and then I'm going to delete those, and I'm going to pick up everything else. Those are all the textures. Delete all of those because I'm going to copy over those. So if we go back here, the next one is the config text. So let's have a play with this. So first of all, it's going to be the D12 break third and GWR standard gauge break third side corridor, built about, well, it's actually built about 1890, and it's got three third compartments, and it's 50 clerestory, and it's 56 feet long. I appreciate that these are quite minimal details, but I'm just going to say that for the moment. So we got that far. Then the next thing I do is I go down and change the KUID, which has to be 10300. Now clearly I did a second version of this one, so I could KUID 2. So I'm going to take that out, and I may have to edit this as well. That's all my blur, such as it is. Right, attachment points. So I've already got a guard in. Luggage size can be 4, and I'm trying to remember now. I didn't put a lamp on, did I? I should have put a lamp in, so I must do that. Lamp 0. Take that out. So it just has a lamp at one end. Luggage 0. Attachment points. I think I actually going like this. Oops. Quotes, where are we? Load. I just give them a number. Alright. And 3. Okay, so that's the, I haven't done the lamp, so I must remember to put a lamp into the mesh. And here, this is the bogies up here. Let's just change those. And I'm going to come back to all the passengers and everything in a minute. This should be D12. Just cloning over from the previous carriage. So that's the main body, that's the night, that's the passenger door and animation file. And that's and that's the shadow. Those are the bogies, which are the 8'6" bogies. Passengers, we've got 24 passengers, so I'm going to take this back to 23 because we're including 0. And passenger sit goes from 01 to 24. So let's just edit those. You mix these up in order that all the passengers don't get into the same carriage and pile up next to each other, which I don't know about you, but I find that very annoying on a train. Also a little bit weird. So we've got 01. Actually, let's take those out as well because I'm bound to make a mistake. There's 02. So let's go 03, back up here, 04, just sprinkle that a bit, 05, 06, 07, I'll just do the end on that, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, number 15, and 16, 17, 18, 22, 23, and finally the very last one, 24. So there we are. That's our 24 passengers, and this product code, that's the John Whelan's Brilliant Victorian Passengers. It's great. There's our luggage. I've still got to put a lamp attachment point. There's our guard, and there he is, figure of the guard. And these are this table down here. I just need to check it out, because basically you include everything you've cited. Yeah, that's okay. That first one, and then it's that should be that. That's the passengers, I think. Yeah, 1799 81050 81050. And then the luggage is mine, 81045, and then the guard figure. Yeah, so those all go okay, so I can leave that. I'll just move it over, tidy up, and that's its correct code. Okay, so that should be the correct config now. Obviously the screenshot is wrong, because the screenshot is just a whatever the previous carriage was, so I'll have to alter that, but I'll come back to that. And the only other thing I need to do now is to, let's open this up. Might as well. So I've got a corridor there, but what over here I need a lamp. I can't remember the position that I put these in. So what I'm going to do is open up. Second. D3 brake third. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, there's the lamp. So the position is it's 3 feet across, so it's -3 across, and it's at the end, and it's 5 foot high. Because I can see that this is the height, the Z axis. This is the axis coming across this way and across this way, and this one here is the end of the carriage. Okay, so I don't need that. So file open. No. D12 brake third. Version 3.2, that's the one I'm going to export. And the Z was uppermost. The orientation of these is important as well. Just make sure we've got the right spot. That looks like to be the correct end. Corridor should be at the other end. Yes, there it is. So it comes in here. So add a point. Yes, and I'm going to call it, what am I going to call it? A lamp naught. There it is, there's the attachment point. And it's going to be the height of 5 feet. And it's going to be -3 feet. And I've just got to bring it into the end, otherwise the lamp will be floating. So please, I just want it to move in one axis. There we are. Okay, and now we'll save that again, and save it as 3.1 D12 3.1. Save. Okay, now we're going to have a go at exporting it. So we come down to export, and I navigate to my new models this time, and I come down to where I've got D12, there it is, and I go into there, and I'm going to overwrite this mesh. I've just renamed it from a previous carriage. Yes. Sphere 05. Oh. Where that is. Could be lots of them, of course. 01, 02, 06, 07, oh my goodness. 07, 9, 09. Yep, we'll not worry about that, but then we go back here and we find the spheres. Music of the spheres, oh there they are, I wonder what they are. Ever are they? Oh, I see what they are. So I've selected those, so we'll hide everything. I think I know what they are. Yep. They're the lamp bases. Oh, very silly on me. The lamp, so I'll just colour them white. Using frames. Texture. There we are. Must have imported them without any texture on them. And I'll just make them unique. Okay. And unhide all and deselect. And save. And save again. D12. Yeah. Oh, it's version 1. 3.1, 3.2. Right, and we'll have another go. Export. There we are. And we want it to pick up all of the textures, so now we're going to browse to find them. Got to find the folder in which you are exporting, to which you are exporting your train. There it is. And once you've got it all along here, click inside, click on end, and put in another top left or bottom right slice. And then click on use path and then begin. And hopefully yep, there's a whole clatter of serious textures in there. And we've also got this GMW file which is created in this early version Gmax, which we don't need. You can just delete that. Okay, so that's the body. Now we need to do the rest of it. So D12, that was the version 3. Now we might as well do doors left. And we're going to export door left. There it is. Going to replace that one. And we also need to do the we need to make sure we send the textures for this to the right place as well, because they will have the class name third, and also things like guard and luggage. Use path begin, and you can check. See third class seat texture. Okay, put first sleeper end. Guard lettering, there we are. So there must be third lettering somewhere as well. Third lettering, there it is. And luggage lettering, yeah. So it has exported those, okay. It's just that then what we can do, the other thing we need to do with this is to export the animation file, the KIN, kinetic, whatever it means, file. And you click on yes, and then you get another one up here, just to confirm, export the animation. And then open up. So that was the left hand doors, D12 doors right. And we can just export the mesh here. And because all the textures are the same as the previous ones, we don't have to re-export them. That's all done. We've already done that. And we save the Okay, now we'll just open up, let's open up the night version. Right, file, export, night. Now we know that the night fart mesh is just a reduction of this one, so all the textures will have been exported already. And then we want to open up the shadow, ditto with the textures, because that's the frames texture is the main black. Export shadow. Okay, so let's have a quick look in our folder here. We've got lots of textures there, look, all the different textures. And we've got these GMW files, 4 of those which we can delete. There we are. That's the main mesh of our carriage. That's its night version. That's its shadow version. Those are the doors, and those are the door animations. And these are the different. Those are the files that the text files which relate to the textures. And then these are our textures which have all been exported. Right. So now we get to the crunch, the very first attempt to get it to load into trains. And we need to manage the content here. And I've got a filter very imaginatively called My Content installed, as opposed to My Content on the DLS as of May last year, 2018 this year. Anyway, there we go. So let's zoom down to trains, SF, GWR, standard gauge. So it's going to come in somewhere there. We're going to import a content folder as opposed to a PDF, a CDP file. Come down to our trains, new model trains. Here it is. Here's the crunch time. This is when we find loads of mistakes. Amazing. No errors and no warnings. I think that's the first time I've ever done that. Incredible. It's just gone straight in. Fairly hefty file, 5 meg. But then they are these carriages for 5 meg. I mean, the days of sort of under 1 meg carriages I think are long gone. You want to put the details. So there we are, that should be it. Okay, so it's gone into trains perfectly okay. But there's quite a number of problems I can see straight away. First of all, one of them here is this guard ducket is missing. That's probably because I need to XREF it. So it's there. Also, the lettering is flickering, which means it needs to come out from the side a little bit more. But apart from that, I suppose it's not too bad. I'm really quite pleased that it's gone in so easily. If we look at this, it's passengers. So let's stick 24 passengers in, because this is when you see when you find them sticking their backs or their legs out the sides of carriages. We need to put the lamp in. Okay, it goes on the end. Luggage. We need to put in 4 units of luggage. So I'm loading it right up now. And the guard. And I just realised I'm missing the corridor as well. Okay, so any obvious problems? There's the lamp, look, that's good. There's the luggage, there's the guard, we can see the guard in there. In fact, we can see him very well here with the ducket missing. And we can see all the passengers sitting in their seats, I hope. Doesn't seem to be 24 passengers in there. Let's have another look. Should be 24. That's very strange. I mean, they're all fairly cramped up. I mean, every seat should be taken. Yeah, there's obviously seats that are not. What are those? 24 out of 44. It's still got some there's still a problem there in the comp. So I've got several things to do to get this right. And what I will do is just come over here. I shall go in and maximum load 44. Why is it still showing that? I thought I'd. So I'm going to set that to 0. And I'm going to 0 all the bits here. Because what I like to do is I'm going to take the screening. Okay. That's the guard. I've just taken it out, for goodness sake. Oh well, what the heck. It's just in surveyor. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just go into a quick drive. Because I've got a train here already. It's on a bit of a test track. There we go. Just rotate around a bit. Come over to here. Come in. Oh, I don't want to see the side without the... Just pull back a little bit. There we go. I'll take a screening. Nice screenshot. Yeah, all very good. Right, so I'm just going to exit trains there, and I'm going to open in Explorer. This is the installed version, and I've got to re-export this. So let's come down to here, and I know what the problem is going to be. It's the having turned the ducket that's missing, having turned it round, it's no longer aligned to the world. Oops. 24. Select. So that's all the attachment points. I'm just hiding. And I'm going to select everything. And then I'm going to use reset X1. Okay. That should do it. So quick up. Definitely has done it, yeah. Okay, so it has done all that. So now I'm going to unhide all. I'm going to save that. And save it again. And this time now I'm going to well, first of all what I'll do is I'll export it to my normal location. And then here I've got two open. The other. So this is in editing. That's the one that's actually opened by Tane at the moment. We know this is the one I just exported because it's produced that file again. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it in here. Yep. It should fix that bit of it. And now I need to go into here and I need to put a corridor attachment. Make sure the corridor attachment is okay. Let's just make sure I know what the corridor 1. Okay. So I need to include a corridor attachment, probably just before the guard there. And why I'm going to do that, that's the editing one, so that's that one, is I just want to go to one that I know has got a corridor attachment. So I'm going to copy that and I'll stick it in before the passengers. I'll stick it in after the luggage, and I just need to change to 1, and I just need to bring it into here. Okay, just make sure we've got the passengers right. That was the mistake. So that's that one. So let's just go back to our stored D12. Just make doubly sure that's the one I did amend. You can get awfully mixed up. Yeah, that's it there. So I'm going to copy that as well. And this one, editing. I'm going to paste that there. Okay, and then while I've got those open, while I've got it open for editing, I shall come over to Paint Shop and Tane Editing, Tane Screenshots. This is today's one. No, it isn't. That's today's one. 23rd of December. My goodness. Huh. I'll just close that there because it'll open it again. There it is. And screenshot, Paint Shop Pro. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is make my screen, and it needs to be 240 in width, and maintain the aspect ratio, and then the actual trim, I'm trimming down the canvas to 240 by 180, so that means top and bottom okay. It's okay, so copy that, edit, copy back into this one, sharpen it up, paste on that, combine the two, file, save as, what have we got here? Can't remember how far. Oh, there we are. GWR D12 break third, save, and then save as D12 yes, save file, save as Tane Editing. There it is, being edited at the moment. Save it as that. Okay, so now I can close those out. No, we should be just about there. Let's have a look. Okay, let's submit the edits. Oh, well, the good news is that we do have the duckets on both sides. I didn't adjust those letters, curses. So I've got to go back in and do that. And that ducket isn't positioned right, look at that. That's not right. That one's okay. So I've still got work to do on those, but let's have a look and see. Let's take it into driver. Okay, that's not going to do the trick, so we'll go back to Surveyor, and I just want to check that we've got 24 passengers, that's correct. Garden, we've got a corridor, so let's just put that corridor in just to have a look. There it is. Actually appears quite nicely. And it's on the one end, so because we'll have the lamp on the other, and that's the guard's end, so that's the end of the train. So I'm going to conclude the video with this. Still got to adjust, go back into the main mesh and adjust the position of my ducket. It's obviously not right yet, it's got to go over to the left a bit, and I've got to check that, and I've also got to, well actually there's that lettering in Surveyor. Well, I'm going to pull the lettering out a little bit more, but that will be the final part for this, and then what I do is I'll show that to you in the next video, and then I'll carry straight into converting this over to E38. So that's all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a comment or a question, and maybe a thumbs up if you're finding these of interest. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because that really encourages me to do more modelling as well as make more videos. So if you want more models, subscribe to my channel.